Berlinale 2010, a leading role for German film? In the interview, Minister of State for Cultural Affairs Bernd Neumann.
Mr. Neumann, the Berlinale is winding up, but the film industry can keep celebrating. Figures are good, turnover is up, cinemas full. How do you explain this in the financial crisis? Do people seek refuge in movies when real life is crisis-ridden and uncomfortable?
Yes, I think that's one factor. It's also a trend that's evident in the number of visitors to stage performances. The second reason lies in the fact that we simply have more attractive movies, particularly when it comes to German films. The selection over time has increasingly improved. These factors have combined to give us a record year in all areas. It's been a long time since we've had so many moviegoers, and a long time since we've seen such an increase in turnover in cinemas, and a record market share of German films in German cinemas, 27.4%. That's a record.
So more productions, more than 200 films opened in cinemas,
including documentaries.
That's a record. But doesn't that mean more films vying for viewers? Is there a limit, a point where you say no more?
We had this discussion 2 days ago at an event at the Berlinale. Do we have too many films? The answer could be, if we had less sponsorship, we'd have less films. That is true, but the answer would be wrong. Because it is the sponsorship, particularly through the German Federal Film Fund, which has contributed to an increase in the total amount spent on films. That means that the average budget has increased. That means that you can make better films, produce them more professionally. As a rule, if you want to cultivate a winner, you need to give broad support to develop talent at the base. The same applies in Bundesliga soccer.
The Film Fund has also been successful in promoting Germany as a place to make movies. It's attracted international funding and international productions to Germany. Are there any figures to illustrate just how successful the fund has been when it comes to expenditure on film production in Germany?
Yes, it's the German Film Fund's hallmark of success. The sum invested on the part of the state, amounting in the 3 years from 2007 to 2010 to about 180 million euros, generated follow-up investments 6 times that figure. That means that with the 180 million that we spent in the space of those 3 years, we triggered a capital flow amounting to more than 1 billion euros in Germany alone. Studios were booked out. Germany once again became an attractive location for foreign productions. We were able to give homegrown talent more opportunities. German stars got a chance to be cast in international co-productions because those productions were being shot in Germany, introducing our German stars to an international audience. The best examples, Inglourious Bastards, the Tarantino film, or The Reader. These films wouldn't be here if it weren't for the German Film Fund, and without it, German actors would never have had the chance to collaborate on such films. So we have the right strategy and we need to stick with it, because there's still room for more German films in German cinemas.
Speaking of international success, a film you haven't mentioned, The White Ribbon, has been nominated for an Oscar.
That too wouldn't have been produced without the German Film Fund.
It's another international co-production. Are we on track to becoming an exporter of films?
We're on the right track, but even more important to me is the area of co-productions, which are on the increase. If you take the films running in competition at the Berlinale, they are basically all co-productions. They allow you to drum up far more capital. If the Austrians had been forced to come up with the financing on their own, some productions would never have got off the ground. But by seeking co-productions, for instance with Germany or vice versa, they get access to funding and achieve budgets normally beyond their reach. In addition, they also foster the European idea, because when you have more co-producers, you're integrating more countries and can awaken interest in countries which may not have shown any, had they not been involved.
One example from the competition programme here at the Berlinale, Ghostwriter, the new film by Roman Polanski. The cast is British, but it was shot in Germany and produced with German, British and French funding. Is this the future of European film?
Yes, European film isn't marked by a European theme that captivates everyone. The European film is always a national film. But this national film is embedded in a co-production involving the collaboration of artists, actors, scriptwriters and producers from different countries. In this way, it becomes European.
Speaking of Europe, you met your French counterpart this week, French Culture Minister Frédéric Mitterrand. There's a lot of talk about joint German-French projects. Are we seeing the development of a Berlin-Paris axis in the film industry?
We're not seeing it develop. It already exists. We already have a German-French co-production treaty. We have a joint degree program at the Film Academy in Ludwigsburg. We aim to strengthen this axis. It's appropriate because both ministers are film buffs. In contrast to Mitterrand, I've never played in a film, something he has done. But we both love cinema, and that's a good basis for improving cooperation between our two countries.
With so many films being produced, perhaps there'll be a role for you.
A leading role, I hope.
Or a supporting role. They have Oscars for that as well. We've had a whole week of the Berlinale with everything revolving around cinema and films. You've been to many official events, you've seen a lot of the films. What have been the most memorable moments for you?
Welche starken Momente bleiben von dieser Berlinale 2010 für Sie?
One key event was certainly the world premiere of the restored copy of Metropolis. In terms of its effect on the rest of the world, I think this was the real high point of the festival, at least for me. It was unique, also in the way the orchestra and the film were combined. I'm also fascinated by the impulses the festival gives to the city of Berlin. For this short period, Berlin is the film festival. Once again, we've sold record numbers of tickets, nearly 300,000 this year. No other festival in the world has so many people going to the cinema and paying to see the movies. And the European film market, which has been part of the festival for several years now, has again had fantastic figures. So for me, it's that mixture of film highlights like Metropolis and the dimension of the event itself, with so many people attending the screenings. That's what makes the Berlinale so fascinating for me.
Bernd Neumann, thank you very much.